Uh, Let me just, before giving starting the session, would like to know a little bit about your SAP Business Object background, like which of the business object tool have you worked, or in case if not worked, then just a little bit of knowledge so that I can uh, accordingly move so that you are in a better position to understand the things. Okay. Hello. Are you guys able to hear me?
Sir, 1 minute, sir. I texted you.
Okay, okay.
One second. ఇప్పుడు వస్తుందా? Hello.
Hello.
Now you are able to listen?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So I would just wanted to know a little bit about your SAP Business Object knowledge. Like, have you any familiarity with any other business object tool? Or it's
Okay, let me give my introduction. I do have 7 years of experience with respect to Buxy R3.1, and nowadays, like from past 2 years, I used to work for the Business Object 4.1 in all cases of development as well as an admin part.
okay, good. So then in that case, you would have worked on different business object reporting tools, I guess.
Yes. Apart from this, I used to work for Hyperion. That is also there with me.
Okay, good. So, so today what I will do is I will just give you a brief introduction about this tool so that you get a little bit of idea, like what are all the objects available, how we, what are the different type of data sources to which we can connect, and like that information, so that it's might not be a full-fledged information, but you get a brief overview of what is the tool, more about how it works, and all these things.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So as you have seen, I just launched the Design Studio application. So first thing is like you can, if you go to the tools, there will be, you have plenty of options actually. So first of all, like if you go here, you have this options where it asks you that, okay, what should be your startup mode? So basically what it does, it's uh, based upon your selection, like whatever you want, whether you want to start in a local mode, business object platform mode, SAP HANA NetWeaver, it gives you a direct interface to that system. So if you say local mode, it will not provide any interface or any credential. If you would have seen, just when this application launched, it asked me SAP BI platform server details, credentials, and all these things. So what it just this startup mode doesn't make much difference. It's just like it gives you a predefined window. So once you select this one, he knows that okay, you want your system to, whenever it starts, to connect any of the business object platform, any of the SAP HANA system, any of the SAP NetWeaver system.
Okay.
So that is just a preference you set it up, so that it automatically gives you that window. And if you skip that one, like what I did not enter. I said, okay, I don't want to use any of them. So in that case, what it will do is it will by default, or you can say by, it will change to local mode. And then you have some application templates. Anyway, that is not much of importance right now. This is one of the most important thing, that is your backend connections. So now whatever all the connections are available, that you need to display, it will be displayed here. So depending upon your backend system to which you have connected, or the mode in which you have launched, it will give you the list of all the system to which you are connected. So if you want to, let's say, want to use SAP HANA connections, we have this, you need to add yourself. So, and generally it will be taken care by your basis team or your IT support team, because it requires administrator access. So just I will give you a brief idea how it works. You can now DVC, and then it will ask data source name that you need to give, and then server port. And if you say credential, then you will ask username and password. So generally we don't have that access. So it will give, okay, this is connected. So depending upon the mode you have selected, it will be there. If you have selected, let's say, SAP BI platform mode, and you gave the credentials, everything, so it will list you all the BW connections, all the HANA connections, all the SAP HANA HTTP connections, plus all the universes which are available at your BI platform mode. So basically when you build your application on the server side, we use that BI platform mode, so that whatever all the listed. So we will see that in detail actually how it works. So there will be plenty of questions going in your mind, so that's quite obvious. We will see how we connect to which system. So just I gave you a brief idea like how we connect. Depending
Sure.
upon your selection, it will connect to that system.
Okay.
So this is more of a preferences. Okay, now then coming to one of the most important thing regarding what are all the backend system to which we can connect. Obviously, when you use any reporting tool, the first thing which comes into your mind is like, what are the backend system to which I can connect? Will that be able to connect to my old legacy system, or what are its limitation? So these kind of things. So for this Design Studio tool, literally you don't have any limitation. You can connect to any data system, but depending upon your database or backend system, the methodologies might vary a little bit, not to a great extent, but very minor. like if you see that it listed you SAP NetWeaver BW system, SAP HANA, SAP Universe. So all the system it was listing was SAP system. So what if somebody wants to use its non-SAP system? Let's say you have a SQL server, Oracle server, MS Access, or maybe a simple flat file. So in that case, how we will use that one? So what they have provided the provision is that you can, if you are using SAP system, SAP NetWeaver, BW, Bex queries, you can consume directly. If you are using SAP HANA views, you can use directly. But if you don't have these things, so you have to create a universe. So once you create the universe, you can use that as a backend system. So what it does, it creates an interface between non-SAP and your Design Studio tool, that universe. I guess you might be familiar with that universe.
Right.
Yeah, so that is how, if you, let's say if you want to use your Oracle system, SQL, or maybe simple MS Access file, so you have to go via universe. So you need to create a universe and then the same thing. You can consume it in your front-end side display. So this is about what are the limitations, or not limitation, precisely if I say how to connect to different type of data sources.
Sure.
Okay, so this is more about your backend system.
Okay.
Just a minute. So this is where you start your application. Just need to give any name. Now this template category that comes as a desktop browser, iPad, iPhone. So what it means is, what is the relevance of this is, so it's not something like if you create an application for desktop browser it won't work, or if you create an application for your iPad it doesn't work on iPhone, or if you create for this one vice versa. That is not possible. That is not the case situation. You can, whatever template category you choose, they all are accessible in each of them. So then what will be the difference, why we choose this one? So the answer is that it makes your visibility much better. The reason being, if you see any desktop or laptop, the aspect ratio of a screen is completely different to what you will feel or you will have in your iPad or in your mobile. Generally in desktop the width is more and your height is little less. You can say it's a ratio of 3:4 or something like that. Whereas if you go to mobile, your height is more, width is a little less, until unless you view in a portrait mode. It's like that. So what will happen if you create an application in desktop browser and when you view it in your mobile, so you might need to, little bit scrolling might be required. That's it. Other than that, it's perfectly fine. You can view it on also.
Okay.
So because your canvas, what it will develop, whatever on which you will add the components or build your application, that is created in regards to your target system, template category, what you have chosen. So due to which it will be best fit for that category. That's it, nothing else. It's not
Okay.
that you will have. So this is where the template category comes into picture. So if you have your application basically made for target as a desktop browser, you can choose desktop and iPad, iPhone.
Okay.
And if you have like usage, multiple usage, like you might use on both the system, So in that case, you can go for desktop browser because if you have to use what I said was like, if you have your application which will be used or which will be viewed in desktop as well as, let's say, iPad or iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, it's better to go for desktop because just a minute, I lost the connectivity. Okay, so I was telling you about the application.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to choose for multiple type of devices, you might be viewing your application on your desktop as well as the iPad. In that case, we prefer for desktop because anyway mobiles you can view it in different mode. So it will you have to less inconvenience in viewing any application made from target as a desktop browser in your iPad or mobile compared to the reverse case. So anyway, we'll see how it when you build an application how it matters.
Okay.
So depending upon your target, it will show you some template already built. Some
Mm-hmm.
might be like already built so that you don't have to build it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
They so this is how they will like depending upon some API template, some details template, they have already built some predefined that you would have even seen in dashboard also, Excel sheets
Yeah.
dashboard.
Right.
So like that one. So for your understanding purpose, we can when you are building your application from scratch, we prefer to go for blank so that it does not have anything already built. So this is your application where you will have all the objects available and then you will build your application, and so on. So just a minute. So these three things were left part consist of all the components. So they have categorized into analytic, basic, and container. So that's not of very much importance. And basically analytic and basic, they don't have that very fine division. You can say that okay, whatever are in basic, exactly you cannot figure it out why they have been put in that one. But container components are generally which holds your objects. So we will see that one by one, all the component, what they do, what are the purpose for which they have made, and some sample examples of each of them one by one.
Sure.
Okay. Then this is your area where you, whatever objects or whatever things you will add, that comes here. Okay, so let's say your data source. So first of all, the thing which you will add is your data source. So they will be available in network. So we will see how we add it. If you add any data source, so it will ask you what, if you remember, I showed you in preferences, we have all the corrections available.
Right.
So here it will be listed. So at that moment, we were shown 4 corrections. So what is exactly it is showing right now? You can choose any one of them. So it will ask for okay. So it says that connection is active. Now to that connections, whatever all the views available or whatever all the tables, depending upon what you are using. If it is a BW connection, then all info cube, X queries. If you are connected to a HANA view, then all the calculation view, analytical view, like it is showing. So based upon that, you can choose any of the data source. Just a minute, hanged. This will be your data source added here. So like that, then you can add multiple data source. And it's not necessary that all of them should be of same type. You can add one of them from your info cube, one of them from your universe, one of them from your HANA calculation view. Like that one you can use depending upon.
Okay.
And then whatever objects you will add. Let's say if I add a simple chart here, that all comes under your layout thing. So mostly all your objects will be, all of your things are divided into 2 parts. One will be data source, one will be objects. So one comes under data source, that is the name itself explain, all the data source will come here, and all the components will come under layout, whether it is a chart, cross tab, filter, or anything. Okay, so let's take a look at now all the components what are available, just in a brief manner, like what all they do, what is the purpose of them. So the first component, chart, the basic component to display your facts and figures. Basically these are 2 types, one is chart, one is cross tab, and that is common in any tool which you will use. These are generally 2 types by which you represent your information. Apart from that, you have other things also like geomaps is there, but that is not very much used. Basically, these two things are used. So when you want to plot your application details, you can use chart. And it's not that if you see you have the data source. So once you, like if you would have used in Webby, whenever you add any chart or any table, so what it asks is map to data source.
Right.
So the same thing it asks here. Whenever you will add any component, it will say assign a data source, because until assign a data source, it will not display anything.
Right.
So once you assign a data source, it will show some value. Whether what it is showing, that's of least concern. So it will show you the data, and then you will have some properties which we will see in details when we will take the object with some sample examples. So
Okay.
what we will do is, right now we are just viewing what all the components are there with a little bit of working about them. And then in the next session upcoming, we will see all of the components, whatever are available, analytic, basic, container, one by one with a sample example, which will explain a little bit more about their working, their properties, their limitation, and most importantly, when to use which one.
Okay.
So this is about your cross tab chart, I mean, sorry. Then we have this cross tab, which is used to display the same information, but generally this cross tab is used when you have a little more data compared to your chart. So if your chart is generally, that is a common thing which you would have used also. When you have a little less information, you go for a chart. But you have a very large information, multiple key figures, and more than, let's say, 100 or rows, then you go for a cross tab. So
Okay.
that is how your cross tab will be there. You have plenty of properties for that one. How we modify all these properties, how it works. So this is more about the basic two components which are used to display the information. Let's
Okay.
place it. Okay, then we have dimension filter. So as the name suggests a little bit about itself, dimension filter, what it does, it is used to filter your data, whatever you are using. So one important thing regarding this tool is that whatever filtering is done, that in this tool, whenever you filter anything, it is not related to component or chart. It filters your data source it directly. Here, whenever you will filter anything, you will filter the data source. It has nothing to do with components or charts. Now, whichever object is using that data source, that will be affected. So, whatever dimension filter, filter line, filter panel, all these things, they all works in the function. So that we will see it later, just for information I gave you.
Okay.
So dimension filter, if you take a simple example, so let's say you are having the data for various regions, Asia Pacific, America, Africa, Europe, Middle East, like that one. 4 or 5 regions are there, and you want to view only for, let's say, Africa or Middle East. So the dimension filter, you can go select that value and it will filter you the data so that you can view only for that. Or you have, let's say, yearly data and you want to view for 1 or 2 months of data, you can view that. So you can, but the thing is, you can select more than one value.
Okay.
So this is about dimension filter. Then if you these three are same actually, dimension filter. Sorry. Yeah, so I was telling that this dimension filter, filter line, and filter panel. All the three are basically of the same type, not much of difference between them. From if you view it in a very brief manner, if we say they all have a filter of the data. So
Okay.
if all are same, then the difference is very minor, or you can say major also, that we will see later. So the difference is like in one of them you have multiple values to select. In another one you can assign to any only one of the dimensions. So in dimension filter, what you can do is you can assign to any one of the dimension. So if your
Okay.
table have, let's say, region, right, region, country, city, organizational unit, like that one, 4 dimensions are there, 4 5. You can attach it to any one of them. So what will happen is you have to specify initially that to which object or which dimension it needs to be attached. Whether it is country, you cannot have it attached to more than one dimension. But if you come to filter line, you don't have that limitation. At runtime,
Okay.
you can choose you want to filter. Let's say I want to filter. I saw that okay, I have a sales in different region. I saw okay, I don't have good sale in Europe. I will say filter Europe. Then I saw in filter Europe. I find that okay, in this country, the sales is not good. So I will say I can apply second filter on top of that. So
Mhm.
it's not that the first filter will gone. It will be a cascading kind of thing. First filter will apply, then the second will come. So
Okay.
region, within that region, what are all the countries are there? Once I select country, so I can dynamically choose which dimension I need to filter. So that is advantage of filter line. And filter panel is so it's similar to filter line. The difference is little bit complicated if I will say right now, but just uh, you can assign it to multiple data sources. You can
Mhm.
with filter line we have a limitation that you can assign to any one of the data source. But filter panel you can assign to multiple data source. So if your data source is having you want that okay whenever I use that filter I want to filter more than one data source, you cannot go with filter line. So based upon that it will have limitation. We will see in detail. So basically these three things, dimension filter, filter line, filter panel, are
Okay.
used to filter based upon your requirement, your limitation and your usability, or which one suits you better, you go for it. But
Sure.
most important or mostly used is this dimension filter. That is something which will be used very much. So I will tell you the example in next session, like in which scenario, which one to use, and what are the
Mhm.
limitation, like that one.
Okay.
Now, if I come to geomaps, geomaps are when you want to display your information in a geographical manner, when like a map will be displayed, but it has plenty of limitations. Your data should be exactly in the textual format. Like say you have a city-wise or a state-wise. Uh, the name should be exactly in the same text what used to be in the what it accepts. So if let's say my database is showing India as IN or let's say Japan as JP, so it might not be able to show you because it's expecting the country name to be India, India, Japan, JP, and so in that case, it has some limitation.
Mhm.
So, but recently they applied some of the changes in that one. So in the recent update of 1.6, they might have added few more capabilities. So, but this is how it is used to give you an application. So you can say apart from chart and cross tab, this is third component by which we view the data, but very less used, not very much, because user is also not very much familiar how to view that information, because most of them are familiar with cross tab and chart, not much with this geomap. But it's a kind of fancy thing, and for some users who have a little bit of knowledge about this, it gives them good impression, and your reports look much more eye-catchy. So we will see that one also. Then if you go to navigation panel, so navigation panel uh, is used when you want to flip between various dimensions and objects available. So if you have, let's say, region, country, city and all these things, so what you do is you flip between all of them. So to get what is the best view of the data which you want to view. Let's say you are viewing the data from country perspective. So with the navigation panel, you can switch between them. So let's say you are viewing with country, you are viewing country wise sales data. So you can bring country out, you can put region wise data. So now you will have the at runtime. So initially you can do it. If you don't have that navigation panel, you have to specify initially. Let's say a cross tab is there. So you have to specify that, okay, you want to view the data country wise, region wise, or region plus country both. That needs to be specified initially. Once your application is there, you cannot modify it. But with navigation panel, you have the flexibility. Whatever all the objects are available, you can bring anything, anytime in any of the rows, any of the column, so that it gives you the flexibility to view the data from different perspectives. So what is the advantage? If I see that, okay, in region, I have a sales which is little bit, I don't find good sales in Europe. So what I will do, I will remove region, I will bring country. So I will see, okay, in which country it is not good. I see that, okay, this sales is not good in, let's say, in Europe region, let's say in Spain it's not good, or Italy it's not good, in Germany it's not good.
Okay.
Then I will know, okay, this is not good. So then if let's say if my sales is not good, I can remove that sales and I will see that, okay, what is the reason? So maybe what is the quantity ordered, then quantity sold. These measures I can bring and see, okay, what is the reason? Did not get enough order, or I did not sold enough order. Let's say I got many order, but I was not able to perform well. So, or I did not get even the in fact good orders. So like that one, different type of what if analysis, if I say in a more business object term, this navigation panel helps you to do that one. So
Okay.
when you are so the scenario, I will just give you a little bit, like this is useful where the user is not very much sure that, okay, that from which perspective he wants to view the data, or the requirement is not as crystal clear, or I will not say crystal clear, he wants to view from every angle perspective. So in that case, this comes handy, navigation panel. So you
Okay.
cannot say that requirement not freeze or not there, but you can say that, okay, they are very much wants to be flexible in every dimensions. So in that case, you give them navigation panel and give them the flexibility that, okay, you want to use this one, like that.
Okay.
Okay, just a minute. So this is about analytic component. Then you have these basic components like button, which is used when you want the user to give an option of something like press So you can save your application, refresh your application, export your application, or you can open a new application from your application. So for all that type of functionality, you use that button. Then you have this chart type picker. This functionality is what it allows you is at runtime you can change the application type. So if you see here, you have this chart. It is shown in column chart. So you can change your chart type anything like line, pie, column, stack chart, all these things. But that you need to do initially when your application launches. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, so I was telling about this button chart type picker. So the different type of chart type available. It's not that only column chart is available. So you can modify any of them, any of the type, but that needs to be done when you are building your application.
Okay.
So if at one time also you want that, okay, my column chart needs to be changed into pie chart, into my bar chart, my stack chart. So in that case, you need to give that chart type picker. So what it does
Okay.
it, at runtime it allows to change your application or your chart. Okay, but that is applicable only to chart. Okay. Then we have checkbox. So it's more of a very generic component you you would have used even in your daily life also when you want to exclude or include some condition. So
Yeah.
a simple example in business object terminologies will be like you are displaying a chart and you have some checkbox like show details. So what happens is when you click on that one, you get a very detailed information like you are displaying only for region. And you
Right.
just click on that show details, so it shows you very country-wise data. So depending upon either you can have only for one region or let's say for all. So something like that.
Okay.
So that is one of the usage we will see more. Now this checkbox goes one value, two value, three value. So same like that. Let's say you are displaying a country-wise sales. So with the checkbox you can select which country you are interested. That may be 1, 2, 3 or 4. So this checkbox group, this drop down, then this list box and radio button group. These four things are same. The purpose is same, just to filter out data. Difference is only like uh, two out of these four allows you to select one value only at a time, and the remaining two allows you to select multiple. So this radio button and drop down, this
Okay.
allows you only to select one value at a time. Whereas this list box and checkbox group allows you to select more than one values. So that is one of the usage, like in which scenarios which one to use. So that's why these, but working wise, how you attach to data source, how they filter the data, what are the functions available, all are same for these four things: checkbox group, drop down, list box and radio button. So we will see one by one how they work. But these four are the basic standard. In the basic component, if you say filters, these four are available.
Okay.
Then we have date field where you want your user to input some date. So in that case, date field is used. Let's say you have very historical data and you don't want that, okay, all 10 years of data to come. You specify in that, okay, enter one of the years for which you want to view the data. Or might be a range also. You can give two input date figure so that he gives a range, let's say for 2 years, 5 years, like that.
Okay.
Then drop down box, I told you it is similar to checkbox. Then formatted text view, this is used when you want to display some heading kind of thing. Generally you have two texts, formatted text view and in last you have text also. So formatted text is where you want to display a heading kind of thing. Let's say you are displaying a dashboard for sales. So you want a header. Generally whenever you will build an application, in most of the cases your top components will have two things. One will be the title of your dashboard and your company logo or the client's logo. So these two things are there. So generally that formatted text view is used for that header because it is already in a very bold and very large font, so you don't have to modify all this thing. So in that case this is used. Then we have fragment gallery. This fragment gallery is something which we cover later because it is a little bit complex component. So if I want to give a very brief detail, it will be useful for you right now.
Okay.
So then this is the image, as I told you, like if you want to display some image or some icon, we use image component. Then you have this input field, which is used when you want your user to enter some text. So I was telling you about this fragment gallery. So fragment gallery, what it does, it saves your snapshot. So once you save it, you have to give, you might want your user to give some name. So in that case, it comes handy. Or when you want your user to display some information, let's say you have HR database, HR report you have prepared, and you would have seen in real time where you go, you search for any application or applicant's name. Let's say your name is XYZ. So what you do is you type your name and it gives you the detailed information. That might be when you have joined your company, what is your expertise, all this is different things. So in that case, if your HR report, I just gave you an example, there are many numerous cases. So you can give a name and it will give you a detail about that information. So it might be, let's say your whole name or maybe just first 3 characters. If you based upon that, the number of more characters you give, the more precise the result will be. So that is another scenario where you use this input field.
Okay.
So list box, radio button, I told you, this is one of the filter. In text is also if you want to display some textual information. So like your total sales, if you want to display, or simply it would be like a heading you want to display for your chart or for your table. Or it also, the text is used for doing various calculations, or if you want to display some calculation. Let's say your graph is showing for different region. Okay, so you want that, okay, whenever he clicks on this one, you want to display like sales it is showing. You want that, okay, whenever user clicks on that one, on top of that bar, you want to display what was the orders received, so that you can
Okay.
display in a text that, okay, order received for Asia Pacific. He clicks on Middle East, the number comes as order received in Middle East, anything like that.
Okay.
So this text will be, I will say, one of the most used component. And then we have these container components. Depending upon your usage, the most important will be this tab script, because in most of your application you want your application to be divided into different pages, if I say. So this is one of the most important. Then you have split cell, grid, layout, page, book, panel, pop-up. So this panel, it's also a container component in which you will have all your this analytic or basic components. Pop-up is when you want to display some textual information, like not, you can display charts also within that pop-up, but generally when you want to display some information, like as I told you the simple example, if you click on Middle East, let's say region, so either you can display an information on top of that chart, or you can display a pop-up also. Pop-up which gives you an information, okay, what is your, let's say, ordered quantity as well as delivered quantity. So that information you can give in a pop-up also. So that purpose it serves. And similarly, all these things. Split cell container is used with fragment gallery. So that we will see later.
Okay.
So this is basically more about the various type of components available. So what you can do is, generally right now it's not much informative, so you can just go through all the components which I have told you, and anyway we will cover them in details, exactly like what it's working, what is limitation, in which scenario which one to use. Okay, so maybe from tomorrow onwards what we can do is we can go one by one each of the component. And also if you have any doubt or anything you feel that, okay, not related to what I have told you, but something other, any other question, like how to, like what are the different type of databases to which we can connect. So already I told you, but something like that one, any question what you are having, so we can have it.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. So
Anything right now?
as of now I'm having only three. Which version we are using it as of now? Like what you're
It's
showing now?
1.5, I guess.
1.5. Okay. Venkatesh, I need any like any of the document or any PDF. Till now I don't have any like a single point like with the Design Studio.
Okay, okay. I can give you a tutorial link where it has a few interactive videos for the basic information, so that I
Okay,
will
fine.
share with you.
Okay,
I
sure.
will share with you can get it.
Sure. And is it possible to get a software anywhere, something like installations or something, at least in a local?
Software is actually you can get it from marketplace if you have SAP ID,
Okay.
because I don't have it right now, because ID expired a couple of months back, so I got it from somewhere. So you can use in the system. You can check with when him Venkat, he can tell you how to use the system and what are the credentials, everything.
Okay, sure.
And as far as download is concerned, you can download it from marketplace like you would have used other business object tool, dashboard. You can download it.
So Venkat will guide me on that, no issues, right? I think.
Yeah, you can get the information.
Yeah. Okay, fine, no problem that. So just to provide me the links, that is one thing.
Yeah, I will share with Venkat. He can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Kiran.
Yeah, okay, thanks everybody. See you tomorrow, same time.
Bye.
Bye.